Hey, this is Victor with VentoBot, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Kill the Messenger, where today we're going to discuss how to attract your ideal client in 1 minute with Marina Stamos. Now, before we begin, and before I bring her in here, don't forget to go to ventobot.com/book to get your copy of the book, the same 4 phases we take our private clients through to generate never-ending leads. That way you know how to bring in and attracts your ideal client in just 1 minute, and then you can build a system that helps to convert them and elevate them and move them into working with you. Now, today I have Marina here. Welcome, Marina. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm great.
Great. So I'm glad you were able to come on. I know we met at this point, I would say a few months ago now. Yeah. And we connected at an event you were sponsoring, and we were talking. It was an event about speaking, and it was great. You and I got to talking, and you and I seemed to click almost immediately in talking about how we help very similar people. Like I'm almost like the next phase after they get to it. You've helped them get to a certain business point. Because I know, and I think I forgot to mention this, but you are a women's business coach, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so I love the topic, and I'm excited to kind of dive into it and pick your brain a little here for the audience. So that they can learn a little bit more about how to attract their ideal client in just a minute, because that seems to me very valuable. Like I would love to know myself how you're doing that, and might even implement that myself in the next week or so. So let's jump right in. And where would you say, I know you have some like do's and don'ts, so what would you say are the first things we need to know about that?
Well, the first thing to know is that so many entrepreneurs, now I will say technically I do focus on women, but the reality is, of course, I work with everyone. Mm-hmm. And the bitter reality, and I've been doing this for many years, mm-hmm. is that many business owners are very passionate about helping others, right? And they love to do what they do. Whatever it is that they do, maybe they're healers, maybe they're doctors, maybe they're lawyers, maybe they're coaches, consultants, HR, whatever it is, right? And they are all driven by this incredible passion to do the work and that they feel they were born to do. And then the whole business thing comes crashing down. I wish I had a dime for every time I've heard, and I have said it myself, believe me, I don't judge. I can coach people because I have said all of these things and felt all these things. They say, I'm a healer, not a salesperson. I'm a lawyer, not a salesperson. I'm a this, not a salesperson, right?
Yep.
And I totally understand that, right? Because it is such a whole different level of skills. So now I could go for like 3 weeks straight without taking a breath and talking about what we can, what's behind that and how that hurts people and their business growth. But let me just get right to, well, let's say, okay, you have now come to the bitter realization that yes, you have to wrap your mind around the sales, right? And you can go from, and I can tell you from my own experience, you can go from the dread and the fear of being salesy and the embarrassment and the shame and the feeling like this is beneath me, right? And these are all things that come up when you come to realize like, oh, I'm in business for myself, so I have to take this, right?
Oh yeah.
Go to the other side where you are actually making money, owning it, and seeing the sales process and the business process is just something that's like almost, I'll call it for me, it becomes a place of repose and fun. I just see it as like now a natural part of the business, right? Like this is the price of admission. If I don't want to work for someone else, this is what you have to wrap your mind around.
Right.
Now,
that makes sense.
So how does that manifest itself? Like once people kind of get to that point between that kind of painful struggle between I just want to do the work that I love and make a lot of money, right? And then the business part. And a lot of times it manifests in how people present themselves when they are actually talking to a client, to a prospect, right? So, and this is where I'm kind of, I am going somewhere with all of this, right?
Yeah.
So you might find yourself, and again, I have done this. I have done all of this. You focus on all the things that you do. Let's say you're talking to a prospect and they want to know a little bit about what you do, right? And you go right into, well, we do 6 weeks of this and I help you with your limiting beliefs, and you talk about all these things that they don't care about. Or maybe you do a good job of actually touching on a few things that they actually want. And then there's silence, because you think once you've done that, that's it, right? It's a done deal. It's sold. Okay. Look, I'm looking in my bank account. Where's your money, lady? How come you know, that's it, right? It should be it. But that's not how it works. Okay. So I have created, though I have been doing, I've been helping brands grow who are literally startups. So they're already 8-figure brands and want to get to the next level. And often it just comes down to getting very clear about what it is that you do, like the problem that you solve in your target client's words is the thing that keeps them up at night. And then remembering to invite them to work with you, right? So, and doing it quickly. Now, so what I've created is the 1-minute talk sample, the 1-minute talk. And I have found, I've been doing this for the last couple of years, instead of like talking about just the general principles of the 1-minute talk, what I find that transforms people and makes them understand and makes them learn and earn so much faster when they're working with me is I start off with an example. So if you'll allow this, I'd like to just give you an example of a 1-minute talk.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Okay. So I'm going to ask you to imagine you're sitting in the audience at a wellness conference, right?
Okay.
And some lady, Jane, she walks onto the stage, right? And as you look at Jane, she looks like she's a healthy person, and she is a weight loss coach. But let's say you don't even know that about her, right? You just suddenly meet this person, and she starts to talk. So she gets up on the stage and she starts to talk. And I'm actually going to read from my script. And this is part of the template that I provide to people to kind of get them started and oriented to what's the elements of a powerful 1-minute talk. Okay, here we go. Now again, imagine you're sitting in the audience. Hi, I'm Jane. And 5 years ago, I was 100 pounds overweight. I had tried everything. My health was in danger. I lost all hope. But now, after my 7-step reset, I'm at my ideal weight. I fit into my skinny jeans, and I feel at peace with food in a way I didn't think was possible. How did I do it? The first step was to use a unique breathing method that I created. It helped me stay calm in the face of cravings and neutralize their power over me. I have created a special retreat where you can learn this powerful method and the rest of the 7-step reset. It has helped hundreds of people to lose weight, feel great, and finally make peace with food. To serve you at the highest level, I'm accepting only 7 people into the group, and there are only 3 spots left. If you just know this has to be your time, reach out. It's first come, first serve. Please meet me in the back of the room to book your complimentary peaceful eating strategy session. You can do this.
That was awesome. Yep, definitely. Speaking, I feel like if I'm going to take a whack at trying to break this down, I feel like what you did was very powerful, because I don't know if anyone else noticed, but I know you left a couple of open loops going, like I want to know more. And it's only going to be attracting those people that are like, yeah, I want to know what the next 6 steps are, you know, or like, wait, there's only 3 spots left, but you're taking 7 people. Like, so obviously social proof kind of comes into play, and it's like, there's 4 people already in this. I want to be one of those other 3. I want to be part of that 7. And repeating the number 7, I think you did it 4 times there in that 1-minute talk, was allowing you to kind of really seed that, like, that there is really focus on, although you've mentioned 7 people, but there are 7 steps, and it kind of focused around the framework. And you didn't really say features about what it is. You talked about more of the benefits that you'll get, the results that you get. And I feel a lot of people forget about that. They focus on the features of their product or service.
Right.
So is that kind of where you're going with all of that?
Yes, and thank you for that feedback. You know, it's very gratifying when people get the underlying wisdom. And the most important thing is, if you can imagine now, you know, anyone who's watching, they may not be struggling with weight issues. Awesome.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But can you imagine, so those of you who might be watching, if you have ever struggled with weight issues, especially repeatedly, can you imagine yourself going, at least wanting to learn more, right?
Yeah.
And or imagine somebody else wanting to. But I can tell you, I've been doing this for many years, and I also come out of, I used to be a television news producer. I'm an Emmy-nominated television news producer and writer, and guess what I had to do a lot of is to really quickly understand and put into words, what was it that was compelling about somebody, right?
Yep.
And I consider that like my great training ground for this work.
Yeah.
Right? So there's something else, and let me ask you actually, just to get some feedback. One of the things that was important, and this is what I teach, one of the things is I mention the word peaceful eating. So in the first one, I say make peace with food, right? And then the second one, again, make peace with food.
Yeah.
And then the strategy session is called the peaceful eating strategy session. Even though I'm the first one to tell you, always talk about the thing that they want in your offer, like which is the weight loss. For people who, and this is, so this would be my first big do, right? Where I was talking about do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
My first big do, well, actually, no, there's a do that comes before the one I was just about to say.
Yeah.
But before that, if I had to say what holds so many business owners at any level back, and again, they might be making a lot of money. Many of my clients are already making hundreds of thousands, even millions, even in the tens of millions a year, upwards of 100 million a year. And it's so funny, no matter if they're startups or at the 100 million a year, if they have hit some kind of wall, I can tell you, no matter what they think their problem is, it's not articulating that thing that their customer really wants.
Yep.
They're like, well, it's all about mindset, and it's all about limiting beliefs, and it's all about, counting calories and journaling. No one wants to hear about that.
Yeah. So just to kind of play off of that,
Yeah.
I know I talk about this in the book, actually. There's like a grid that I use. I call it the fawn, like fear, aspirations, wants, and needs. Oftentimes, and I feel like you're going to agree with this, most people come at it from the like, they create content around like, here's what you need.
Oh yeah, and I have
as
been
opposed
guilty
to
of that.
creating content around here's what you want and how to get it. And then obviously we know what people need. However, they don't care about that because they're not open to that solution yet. They want something else. Right. And then we have to help them transition into realizing what it is they actually need to get what they want. So, and for example, just to use me as an example, like people don't necessarily want Facebook ads, or they don't want funnels, or they don't want like chatbots or whatever it is that I do for people. They want a system that helps attract leads consistently, fills their pipeline to help drive sales, that converts. And they don't want to have to worry about the systems breaking or anything like that. So I know what they need, though. They need that system, but what they want is like that consistency of traffic coming in, of new people and old people like finally elevating to the point of conversion. But what they need is that system, and that's kind of what I talk about, right? And that's essentially what we end up doing for people. So with regards to what you said, yeah, I wouldn't talk about like, yeah, you guys need Facebook ads. That's what's going to help you do this and this. And like people are immediately already turned off when they heard Facebook ads. They're like, yeah, I've tried it. It doesn't work. Where it's like, it could if you have a system that actually helps support it. So I completely resonate with that for sure.
Right. So you're absolutely right. And I can tell you in my own journey, I didn't start off with great messaging. I struggled. What I could do for others easily in my sleep. I actually invested more than $10,000 in a messaging coach for me. I had to hire a me to do me, right?
Yeah. No,
now I'm on the other side. I have control, but it was a process, right? And it was worth every penny. It has come back many fold, right? So here's the do. First of all, no matter how painful it might seem for you, and I know you being the audience, right?
Yeah.
I know that you operate on a lot of levels, and that's why you are able to succeed for people. That's why you make such a big transformation in people's lives. It is a curse, however, when you're trying to boil down what it is that you do, and you must boil down what you do. And I'm going to tell you right now, here's the things that you probably better be talking about if you want to make money. Find a way to position what you do in either you're helping people lose weight. That also falls under the heading of look better, right? That could be anti-aging, right? Feel better for people who are really like struggling with it, with an actual problem that they like, it's really holding them back.
Yeah.
Find love, right? You can find someone to find love. Make money, advance your career, be a better leader. And for many people, maybe like a spiritual aspiration, something that a sense of connection with a spiritual or higher self, right? In a sense, everything kind of boils down to those things: health, wealth, love, and some kind of sense of fulfillment. So relationships, or
relationships, usually like relationships, health, wealth. I forget what the fourth one is, but yeah, there's usually those four main categories that people fall under.
Right.
And then there's subsections of that we all kind of help with in different areas. But yeah, absolutely. Right. I agree with that.
So first of all, get really clear. And even if it seems terrifying, and then you might say, oh, well, I don't want to niche down. I can help lots of people. And yes, you can, right? That's true. But it is, and maybe you've heard the wisdom about talk to one person in the room. And if you've been doing this for a while and you've kind of come to the other side where you're making money in your business, you're really understanding that. Now you've understood, you've seen the wisdom of talk to one person in the room. But if you're still fighting with that idea, and again, I used to fight with that idea, I didn't understand.
Same here. I definitely used to kind of talk to be like, oh yeah, I can help everybody with this. I'm like, well, yes, but the best results I've gotten have been with this specific type of person, this specific type of business. Sure, I could help, but I find the most fulfillment being able to see the best results with this particular subsection of people and entrepreneurs and business owners. So yes, I completely agree. It is tough because it's kind of like a catch-22. Until you get to a point of actually starting to see some of that revenue come in, you can't, it seems like you're in this like, well, anyone who's an ideal client, anyone with anyone who's willing to pay me, right? Type of deal.
Right. That's the ideal
and
client.
Like
right.
I feel like there is a season of that for every business owner at the beginning, for sure.
Totally.
Like you have to go through all the people that aren't right for you to figure out who is. But once you do, it's hard. I think most people find it hard to stay disciplined to stick to that one person, even when you've been so used to just taking anybody on. So it's definitely, I feel like that's something you may have to overcome. I feel you may have run into, you have to overcome.
Yes, of course. And here, again, what I would say is simply this: suspend disbelief for a moment and just say, I'm going to let in other people's wisdom. Just like you ask people to believe in you and take the reins on their lives for whatever reason that you're asking them, right?
Right.
Be a good client, be a good student, the way you ask your clients to be, and watch what's going to happen. So what I would say is, first thing is just say, hey, I've been stuck for a long time. If I don't change, I can look forward to being stuck in the future, and all I'll have to show is regret, right? Who wants regret? Yeah. So say, okay, I'm going to force myself to at least narrow down what it is that I sell. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, so that's number one. Now, number two, do. And I'll reference what I'm talking about when I say this is the talk, right? Here it is.
Yeah.
So what it is really, you have to understand what is their deepest fear or pain around the topic. Okay.
Yep.
Everybody knows, again, if somebody who has been struggling with weight loss for a long time, it is so much more than they know how to lose weight. Everyone knows how to lose weight. But not only are they not at the weight they like, they also now have this tortured relationship with food, and they can't ever stop eating. So they have to make peace with food. And the cravings have got to get in control. Like, that's what hurts people. They know how to lose weight. Everyone knows how to lose calories. Everyone can use MyFitnessPal, right? Everyone knows.
For sure.
So when you speak in those terms and have the confidence to just go right to, I help people make peace with food as they lose weight. Talk about those things that are the deepest aspirational. And if you don't very conscientiously have them as part of your messaging or part of your program, make them part of it now.
Yeah, right? Definitely. I feel if anyone were to do anything, that piece of information right there, understand what people fear and what they aspire to be or aspire to have, And then that is how you speak. You always speak about the transition.
Right.
It's
And
like,
then
that's your messaging.
the third do, and this is also kind of the implied don't, right? The third do is don't stop at the point of just sharing your wisdom and your expertise and your passion. Remember, you have to ask people to work with you. And you have to take the business part of it seriously. And even if it's terrifying, and believe me, I know, I've been there. Resistance and fear never go away.
Oh yeah.
You know how I know what I'm supposed to do every day? What is the thing that I woke up in a panic about? Oh, that's it. That's what I'm supposed to do today.
Yeah. For sure.
You know?
No, that I completely agree with that. So I know we're kind of running out of time here, but
okay, so yeah. So I hope
let's kind of recap what those three do's are for people, so that they kind of have it finalized here at the very end.
So the do is, first, boil down, even if it seems painful and scary and confusing, try to boil down what you do to something that can be described in a few words. Lose weight, be a better leader, find love,
right,
reconnect with make money. And then just trust that there is wisdom in that. And then second is always remember that to lead with what it is that people, what is their fear around that? What is the thing that you really know is holding them back? What is that resistance, that deep primordial reptilian thing that's holding them back? And when you speak about that and you give them hope around that, then you stand out.
Yep.
Right? That was a minute-long talk, and talks like that can literally fill your calendar.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
And then number three, ask people to work with you. Don't make the mistake of just thinking that once you share your wisdom, people are going to come running to you. They're not. You might get an occasional, and I've had an occasional hit where I haven't even sold, and they just kind of come to me. But you're really putting yourself at risk if you don't really just set the intention to ask people to work with you. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I love it, because that definitely allows us to really just remember. And I feel a lot of people don't understand this, and you touched on it with the last do, is, don't be afraid to ask, because people like to be told what to do next. We live in a world of over information. I call it infobesity.
Yes, infobesity. I like that.
yeah, you heard it here first. I did. That's essentially, like, we're so inundated with information that we don't know what to do next. So having someone say, here's what happens next. Let's jump on a call. Go download my cheat sheet. Go get my checklist to help you. Like, that's actually relieving to a lot of people, because they want to know, like, now what? Great. That was great information. What do I do now? Like, you're leaving them hanging. Like, if you actually want to help people, tell them what to do. So I completely love that. Thank you so much again. Where can we find out more? Because I know you have something for the audience here. So where can they find out more about you? So
I do a lot of trainings. I do group trainings and private trainings around the whole business model. And I just also want to make sure that people understand a 1-minute talk, right? Once you get this right, you might say, oh, I give 3-minute talks. I give 30-minute talks. Awesome. Get it right on the 1-minute level, and everything changes at every level. If you don't have it right on this 1-minute level, guess what? You're leaving money on the table when you do the longer form talks. So, but to get a little starter is this right here. It is a template. So on this side, on one side, it has kind of the underlying principles, and then on the right is that example that I read to you, so you can have that. And then you can get it by emailing me at marina@stamoscoaching.com. Marina, M-A-R-I-N-A, at Stamos Coaching. No, I'm not related to John. I wish, but I'm not. S-T-A-M-O-S, coaching.com. And just in the subject line, say 1-minute talk template, and we'll take it from there. Awesome. Fantastic. That's fantastic. And I know everyone's going to be able to create and crush their 1-minute talk, so that whenever they go out, they know how to attract their ideal audience. Now, if you're serious about learning how to not just attract them, but engage, elevate, and convert those ideal audience,
Remember to go on over to ventobot.com/book to get your copy of the book, where we take our private clients through these 4 phases that we build out for them, that system that's going to allow you to attract, elevate, and convert those people. So thank you again so much, Marina, for coming on today. And I'm excited to talk again soon.
Thank you.
All right.